is ordinary till you see the core side of it.
And what you're looking for is the story behind the news.
We bring it to you from Lagos, the commercial capital of Nigeria.
Giving you all sides and political stories round the clock.
Every detail from the start line to the final whistle.
CoreTV News, expanding your view.
This is CoreTV News at 7. I'm Nifemi Oguntoye. A federal high court in Abuja has turned down an ex parte application seeking to restrain Aminu Tambuwal from acting as Speaker of the House of Representatives after his defection from the People's Democratic Party. The motion was filed by a member of the House of Representatives, Abiodun Akinlade, who urged the court to stop Tambuwal from parading himself as Speaker pending the determination of the suit challenging his continued stay in office. Justice Ahmed Mohammed, however, advised the plaintiff to put the Speaker and all the defendants in the matter on notice rather than grant his application. He noted that it would not be fair to grant a restraining order through an ex parte application before the determination of the substantive suit. The federal lawmaker is seeking a judicial interpretation of an earlier judgment by Justice Evochukwu, also of the Federal High Court in Abuja, who held that there was no division in the PDP. The Ekiti State Governor Ayodele Fayose has presented a budget of the 2015 financial year to Ekiti State House of Assembly. The over 80 billion naira budget, christened Budget of Reality, had 60% for recurrent expenditure, while 40% goes for capital expenditure. The first budget presentation of the governor was, however, done behind closed door, as journalists were barred from covering the event. The 19 APC legislators were conspicuously absent from the presentation. Residents of the Federal Capital Territory woke up on Monday to see long lines of vehicles in virtually all filling stations in the capital city. Motorists told CoreTV News that they had to spend longer time on queues before getting the commodity, while less than 24 hours before it was available. And although the scarcity has not affected transport fare, commuters are already bearing the brunt of the situation as they spend longer times waiting for cabs and buses, which are waiting for their turns at petrol stations. The manager of one of the stations said they had to sell the stock available with them in order to help in reducing the long queues. The people were, however, hopeful that government and the aggrieved oil workers will reach an understanding before the situation gets worse in the run-up to the festive season. Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Bala Mohammed, has directed security agencies in Abuja metropolis to discard and rid all illegal motor parks. The minister gave this directive at the weekend against the backdrop of traffic bottlenecks around roundabouts and interchanges across the FCT at peak hours. As its statement from the minister's office indicates that security agencies and traffic officers are to focus attention on Bergat Junction, Nikon Junction, Area 1, Garki, Asokoro District, Area 3, Garki District, Federal Secretariat, and the Wuse District axis. The FCT minister also directed that illegal bus stops at the Wuse Market, Wuse Bridge, Galadimawa, and Eagle Square must be cleared to improve free flow of human and vehicular movement, as well as safeguard the locations from hoodlums. Meanwhile, 16 people have been jailed for 2 weeks in Abuja for breaching the ban on commercial motorcycles in the city center. The FCT authorities say 9 were discharged and acquitted by a mobile court where they had been standing trial. They also revealed that 3,241 commercial motorcycles were seized between January and November 17 this year. Aside from the number of lives that are lost daily as a result of driving against traffic, the damaging effect it leaves is better imagined. Amotayo Alo, who visited the notorious Ojore toll gate in Ogun State, brought back this report on efforts aimed at curbing the menace of wrong-way driving in the state.
The Ojore Tollgate Road is notorious for traffic gridlock and a popular spot where wrong-way drivers are regularly caught. CoreTV News crew visited the Trace office at the tollgate, where the officer in charge of the corps, Adekunle Ajibade, says road mishaps are primarily caused by impatience on the part of motorists.
They are lawless. They want to beat the time while they leave their home very late. That's the truth of the matter. Yes, not really the road. Not really the road. Of course, that could be part of, but that factor is infinitesimal. It's a very small among
This allegation, according to the tricycle riders, was wrong, saying the government has failed in its duty of maintaining the roads.
The bad road that we have for on the way, because there is a lot of hold up on the way. That is why some used to take one way.
Ogun State, we don't have traffic light there, and anybody is free to disobey. Even why the problem is that even the government they are disobeying the traffic law, because when traffic day now, you see some police or some last man whatever or trace, instead of trying to follow that normal way to make people to understand that following one way is bad, but then we still follow one way. For that reason, everybody will join them, because they are showing us, instead of not to show us the good way, they are showing us the narrow way. That's the way they follow that way, we will join them.
Traffic of in one way cannot stop until they do the overhead bridge. If you reach Oritore now, you say you will be very terrible. Everything is very blocked.
Though, according to the commander of Trace, commercial drivers form a higher percentage of traffic offenders than private owners. But Stephen Ashojo, in his private car, says it passes through hell on the road.
The main cause of one-way issue is just because of the bad road. When you get to that side at Ojuri, you see there is a lot of flood on the road. And that is why majority of people always take one way to avert themselves from that flood.
The commander of Trace, Adekunle Ajibade, says the Corps has gone into partnership with agencies to reduce the rates of road offences to the BRS minimum through sensitization.
We have a group of our people that moves from one garage to other every day to sensitize them, to show them videos, to show them pictures, and not only garages and park too. We go to primary school, we go to secondary school.
Clearly not happy with the Ogun State government and the state of the road, this motorist has this advice for all the road users.
Despite the fact that the government are not doing their responsibility, people should avoid one way. That's the way I see it. People should also definitely, if you are in a go slow for hours, you will definitely get to your destination at the end of the day, instead of taking 5 minutes risk and go to heaven.
Despite series of disciplinary measures put in place to discourage traffic offences and bad road using habit, some are still in the act of breaking traffic laws. Omotayualo, CoreTV News, Ogun.
Several persons were feared dead and many others injured on Saturday night in an explosion at the gas station along Arakale Road in Akure. Eyewitnesses say the fire started at about 7 p.m. during the sale of gas within the station, which is located a few meters away from the branch of a bank and a church. There was chaos and confusion as residents ran for cover. These two residents, Umar Sadiq and another unidentified resident, however, expressed their anger at the failure of emergency services to arrive at the scene on time.
I see some people, they shout, say fire, 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 fire. By the time I look out, I see the fire, it don't raise up. What happened for this? They say na gas, it cause all this fire. Eh? They say na gas, they cause all this fire. I say that we don't have a firefight. They say we don't have firefight. Because of what? Firefight is there, everything is there. But what is the reason why firefight don't come for this place? Eh?
Ojú mi ni náà ti ṣe bẹ̀rẹ̀. Tá bá wo ọwọ́ mi báyìí, àwa la bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní kó kíni ẹ̀já láti bẹ̀rẹ̀. But kí ni ìdí tó ń pẹ́ a fi pè látàárọ̀ yìí pé a fẹ́ rí panápaná tá ò rí panápaná láti fi síbí yìí. Gẹ́gẹ́ bí state of capital, ó yẹ kó yọjú sí wa before 10 minutes. Ó yẹ kó ti yọjú sí wa bíbí. Ó ló di pé ọ̀rọ̀ náà á ju eléyìí lọ. Ó yẹ ká ti rí wọn. Nǹkan a lè sọ pé nǹkan pàtó báyìí ló fa iná yẹn. But iná yẹn bẹ̀rẹ̀ ní ojú mi.
We'll take a break now and I'll be back with more. Don't go away.
I no longer worry about deodorant stains with Nivea Invisible for black and white deodorant. No white marks on black and no yellow stains on white. My black stays black and white stays white longer. And I stay 48 hours protected. New Invisible for black and white deodorant from Nivea.
Also available, Nivea Men Invisible for black and white deodorant from Nivea Men.
Welcome back. You can get all of the top stories on any of our social media platforms. On Facebook, it's facebook.com/CoreTV News. Our Twitter handle is at CoreTV News NG. You can also watch us live on YouTube. It's youtube.com/CoreTV, live space and news. Efforts aimed at securing the lives and property of residents of Ibadan and its environs has gathered momentum with a stakeholders meeting between the police and leaders in the state to brainstorm on ways to prevent political violence before, during and after the 2015 general elections. Oyo State Commissioner of Police Kola Shodipo and the chairman of the Nigerian Bar Association Ibadan chapter Kazim Badamosi both are of the opinion that vital importance is the issue of everyone coming together and cooperating with security agencies.
You will expect problems from. And I told our leaders they should try as humanly possible to fill that area. And then, when you are arrested, there's a process you arrest. It's very believed the young people around that place.
Other security agencies that are empowered to carry out, they are the only ones that are supposed to hold guns at our lands. Any other person is not entitled to any personal or private security the way we do it. They are still saddled with the responsibility of maintaining peace and order in all our lands, that is the police and security agencies. This country, my prayer is that we will not tip, but the coming election will be a turning point in the life of every one of us. We will still remain one indivisible Nigeria.
As speculations grow on who will emerge as the running mate towards presidential candidate Muhammadu Buhari, the All Progressives Congress has assured Nigerians that the choice of its presidential running mate will be made within the context of the best democratic ideals, just like that of its presidential candidate. In a statement issued in Lagos on Sunday by its National Publicity Secretary Lai Mohammed, the party urged Nigerians to ignore the widespread and misleading reports in the traditional and social media about the choice of the APC presidential running mate, saying the party has not had a meeting not to talk of picking a running mate. It described the reports that a running mate has been picked to run with its presidential candidate as unnecessarily sensational, downright speculative, and totally misleading. The party said every one of the candidates who have been speculated as a running mate to Buhari is unquestionably competent to be a vice president or even a president, but added that no choice has been made yet by the party. Meanwhile, the presidential candidate of the APC, Muhammadu Buhari, has held a closed-door meeting with former Vice President Atiku Abubakar. The two men who jostled for APC's presidential ticket last week met at Atiku's residence in Abuja. Details of the meeting were not made public, but there are indications that Buhari is keen on ensuring a united party during the run-up to the 2015 presidential elections. Both men also exchanged thoughts on the party's vice presidential slot. With the emergence of the presidential candidates of both major parties for the 2015 general elections, the APC in Ondo State and the Ondo State chapter of the Buhari campaign organization say the party will defeat the incumbent in the state. The APC and the Buhari campaign organization say the rising profile of the Katsina-born retired general and before and after his choice as APC's presidential flag bearer shows that it would be a landslide victory for him in the state. This assertion was made in a congratulatory message of the APC candidate jointly signed by the APC's publicity secretary Omoba Adesanya and Ifeoluwa Oyedele of the Buhari campaign organization. They also said the 2015 elections provide Nigeria and indeed Nigerians a clear-cut opportunity to change a bad and dysfunctional government to an efficient one. The protest that greeted the emergence of Simeon Ajibola as the flag bearer of the People's Democratic Party for the Kwara State governorship election seems to have spurred the candidate into some action. He described the protest against him as nothing but the handiwork of enemies. Rashid has more on that report.
The contest for the PDP's governorship ticket in Kwara State no doubt led to a totally unexpected result, with the emergence of Simeon Ajibola ahead other highly favored candidates such as Dele Belgore and Bemi Saraki. But barely 48 hours after the emergence of Ajibola, protest from some party faithfuls against his candidature has started, with the protesters expressing sadness over his emergence. Protest leader Sheyi Martins expressed disappointment over the primaries, which he described as a grand manipulation of delegates for Ajibola, who according to him is not a popular candidate.
Kwarans are saying no to the party, to the person that emerged as a candidate of the Kwara PDP in the forthcoming gubernatorial election. This is a very, very unpopular candidate. Even in his ward, they don't know him. He cannot win his polling units. In the last election, we understand how he manipulated the election to win. To be in the Senate today, since the past 12 years, he has been in that Senate house. What has he done?
In his own submission, Abdullahi Abdullatif requested the national leadership to conduct another primaries because Ajibola is nothing but a stooge of the opposition, or in the alternative for him to relinquish the ticket for a better and well-known candidate.
That we are calling on the national PDP, national headquarters, to null and cancel this particular election, because it is kangaroo election, because the original delegates are being disallowed because they intimidated them with their talks and everything, political talks. So we please want the national headquarters of PDP to cancel these particular primaries and organize another free and fair election to allow the popular candidate to emerge and deliver Kwara for PDP. That is it.
But in a swift response, the candidate Simeon Ajibola says the protest is an afterthought and one orchestrated by enemies from a transparent, free and fair process with a popular mandate.
Well, it was a very, it was conducted under a very level playing ground, free of any attempt to rig, and transparent.
So what does it portend for PDP?
Well, it's going to unite PDP, because everybody was given the opportunity to express their desire, and this was democratically decided under a free, fair, and credible primary.
With this apparent show of disunity within the PDP, the road to 2015 and efforts aimed at displacing the APC in the state may just have been made a little more difficult. Rashid for TV News, Ilorin.
In Ekiti State now, the All Progressives Congress has criticized Governor Ayodele Fayose and his aides for condemning former President Olusegun Obasanjo on behalf of the people of the state. The party, in a statement signed by its publicity secretary in the state, Taiwo Latuboso, says the recent verbal offensive launched against the former president is in the individual capacity of those involved, or on behalf of their party, and not on behalf of the people of Ekiti as claimed. According to him, Fayose is not qualified to speak on behalf of Ekiti people in a clearly political disagreement between PDP gladiators. He maintained that Ajayi, who criticized Obasanjo on behalf of the state for not obeying a court order, was not known to law as the Attorney General of the state because it was not screened and confirmed by a properly constituted House of Assembly. You're on to CoreTV News at 7. We'll take another break and I'll be back with updates from outside Nigeria. Don't go away.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce someone special here tonight whose understanding, knowledge, and support has truly made our juice company prosper.
I wonder what goes into making this.
You'd be amazed. It often starts from the farm, where fresh fruits are grown and carefully sorted, and straight on to the factory, where they are pressed, processed, and packaged. Then off they go again, this time to large distributors like you, and retail shops, where people buy and pay with ease.
You seem to know quite a lot about this. You work for the juice company then?
I suppose I do.
Please join me in welcoming our business banking service partner, Stanbic IBTC Bank, to partnerships that move us forward. Stanbic IBTC Bank, moving forward.
Welcome back. Australian commandos have stormed a cafe in Sydney, thereby ending a siege by a gunman now identified as Heron Moniz, an Iranian refugee who took dozens of people hostage. Paramedics carrying stretchers raced towards the cafe moments after the commandos moved into the cafe, with several people apparently injured, while the fate of the gunman remains unknown. Sydney City Centre has been in lockdown since the gunman seized the hostages earlier on Monday morning, with some of them forced to hold up an Islamic banner at the window. Army commandos with assault rifles wearing helmets and body armor could be seen piling into the cafe, tossing stun grenades ahead of them and apparently opening fire, with the hostages running to safety with hands raised in the air. A man and a woman were seen being carried to safety by emergency services. The hostage taker, Heron Moniz, is a 49-year-old Iranian who received political asylum in 1996 and has been on bail facing a number of charges, whom his lawyer described as an isolated
the motivation of the perpetrator. We don't know whether this is politically motivated, although obviously there are some indications that it could be. National Security Committee of the Cabinet has been briefed on this. It is a very disturbing incident. I can understand the concerns and anxieties of the Australian people at a time like this, but our thoughts and prayers must above all go out to the individuals who are caught up in this.
And that wraps up this hour on CoreTV News. Join us again at 9:45 p.m. for the primetime news. I'm Nifemi Oguntoye. Thanks for being there.